Hi, it's Sylvester, and I just watched the movie Smiley Face, and I have some thoughts, as you might imagine, since I'm making this video. Now, if you clicked on this video hoping for an in-depth movie review, that's not really what this is. This is kind of just like a reaction video because I have some thoughts, but I'm definitely not a movie reviewer. It's not my thing. I don't really even watch movies very often. When it comes to YouTube videos, I can watch like a 5 hour long YouTube video, no problem. But when it comes to movies, they just don't hold my attention for some reason. I'll get halfway through a movie and I'll be like, boring, I can't finish this. And so I really don't watch very many movies. So I do recommend this movie because I actually was able to watch the entire thing, which again, for me, is an accomplishment. And you should watch the movie before you watch this video because I am going to be spoiling the movie. But that being said, let's get into my thoughts, shall we? So, in case you haven't seen the movie, Smiley Face is a stoner comedy. And as a former stoner, I thought that I should watch it because I've seen a couple of stoner comedies. I actually really haven't seen that many stoner comedies. I've seen Dude, Where's My Car? I've seen I don't know, I've seen like parts of Harold and Kumar. Like I haven't seen that many stoner comedies, honestly. So I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to compare it to, but this is the first stoner comedy I've ever heard of that stars a woman. It stars Anna Faris, and I really like Anna Faris as an actress, so I thought, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I've heard so many people say so many good things about this movie. I've been told over and over and over again by so many people I admire and like that I would love this movie and I should really watch this movie, and so I finally broke down and watched it. I finally did, and I feel like it's a double-edged sword when somebody tells you when you have a lot of people tell you that a movie is really good and you're gonna really love it. There's no way it's gonna live up to the hype, and so I will admit I'm like a little disappointed because it's not a life-changing movie. It wasn't. Yeah, I had my expectations really high because people talk about this movie like it is the best movie to have ever been made about people who smoke marijuana, and like it is a good movie. Don't get me wrong, and I could really understand why people like it, but it's not like the best movie I've ever seen, and it's not necessarily my cup of tea. I am somebody who struggles with a fair amount of anxiety. I have multiple anxiety disorders. I have generalized anxiety disorder. I have PTSD, which is an anxiety disorder. I have OCD, which I think is an anxiety disorder. I have anxiety. Let me just say, I have anxiety. And so this movie is so stressful to watch because basically the premise of the movie, if you don't know, there's this girl, Jane, played by Anna Faris, and she's a stoner, very stereotypical stoner, doesn't have a job. I mean, she technically is an actress, but she doesn't really get a lot of work. She just sits at home all day and plays video games and smokes weed and, what society thinks stoners do, which I just have to roll my eyes because it's like there are so many so many successful people out there who smoke weed. There are so many stoners out there who are not that stereotype. And you don't really see movies about successful stoners, about people who smoke weed succeeding in life and not being the stereotype of what society thinks of as a stoner. And as an ex-stoner myself, it kind of it insults me, and like I for a while was what people considered to be a stereotypical stoner because I was unemployed and I would smoke weed all day. And so people thought that I was just lazy and irresponsible and stupid and, all of these negative stereotypes that we attach to stoners. And it really pissed me off to see that represented in the media. I think that's one thing about Harold and Kumar is that I haven't seen the movies. I've seen parts of the movies, but I do believe that both Harold and Kumar actually are very successful people who work really good jobs, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm too lazy to look it up, but I think that that's like the only example I can think of stoners in movies who aren't just losers. So anyways, whatever. Anna Faris is it Anna or Anna? Anna Faris? I think it's Anna. God, I should really do like the smallest amount of research before I make a video. I think it's Anna Faris. I've heard some people say Anna Faris though, so like I'm a little confused, but anyways, so her character is a stereotypical stoner, and then she finds some cupcakes in the fridge, and she has the munchies, so she eats all the cupcakes. Turns out they were weed cupcakes, and so she gets way, way too stoned, like way too stoned, and then hijinks ensue, and it is just so frustrating to watch this movie when you have anxiety, because you just watch this girl fail over and over and over again, just make mistake after mistake, and they're always stupid mistakes. Like every time she makes a dumb decision, you want to reach through the screen and just shake her by the shoulders and be like, what are you doing? Be responsible. Like, and I get it. She's like really, really stoned. She ate like 12 weed cupcakes, and like I've never been that stoned in my entire life. I can't even imagine eating 12 weed cupcakes. I don't know if it was 12. I didn't count, but there were a lot. She ate a lot of them. And so like I've never been that stoned, but you know, I can't imagine I would make better decisions if I were ever to be that stoned. But it's just so frustrating because you just watch her make the worst decisions and get herself into more and more trouble as the film goes on, and it's just like, no. Like, no, and like I want to root for her because she seems like a really sweet girl. She seems like a nice person, and so like every time she just gets herself into more and more trouble, you're just like, no, come on. It's so frustrating. It's so stressful. Watching that movie was one of the most stressful things I've been through in a long time. Just like the secondhand stress I felt from watching this character. It was a lot. I do have to say, oh, and also something that bothered me is the fact that she eats a lot in this movie, and I'm not shaming anyone for eating a lot, but she's really skinny, and it's so unrealistic that like every time you see her, she is just mowing down on some, like, usually chips. Like there's this one scene where it's like a montage of all the different times this one guy has seen her because he's like fallen in love with her, and so it's showing a bunch of clips of him seeing her around the house because he's friends with her roommate and whatever. Like basically, like she's just constantly eating. Is what you get from this? Is like every time this guy sees her, she is shoving chips into her mouth, and it's like, again, she is like the skinniest person. You cannot convince me that Anna Faris actually eats chips in real life. Like, there's no way. Like, she probably does eat chips, but in like severe moderation. I can only assume, because, you know, nobody that skinny just eats chips constantly. Unless chips are literally the only thing that she's eating. It's just unrealistic, and it bothered me so much because, like, I'm a fat person, and I've been a fat person most of my life. I know a thing or two about eating a lot of food. I know a thing or two about binge eating. And I used to be a stoner, so I know a thing or two about having the munchies. And I know that they come at a cost, okay? You can't eat a lot and be skinny. I mean, you can. I guess some people just have really high metabolisms. There are people out there who will just eat nothing but junk food, and they're just like skinny as hell, and you're just like, curse you and your high metabolism. Why did God bless you and not me, you know? But it just felt unrealistic to see somebody of her size just depicted as a character who eats a lot of junk food. Anyways, that's a stupid thing to get hung up over. This movie feels really progressive. I mean, other than the way that it portrays stoners, which again is in a pretty negative light. But other than that, it seems pretty progressive. Like, first of all, it's a stoner comedy starring a woman, which again, I don't think I've ever seen that. I can't think of any other examples of a stoner comedy starring a woman. Women are kind of underrepresented in terms of stoner media. So, yeah, she's also not sexualized or objectified at all. There's this one scene where a guy has like a fantasy about her, but she's still like fully clothed. Oh wait, there's two scenes where there's one scene where John Krasinski's character has a fantasy about her, but she's she is undressed, but she's covered by bed sheets and she's not doing anything sexual. And then there's another fantasy scene with John Cho, I think his name is, and he's imagining her coming on to him, but she's fully clothed, and so like she is a little bit sexualized, but not to the degree that I would have expected going into a stoner comedy about a woman, and she's not overly objectified. In fact, I would say that men are more objectified in this movie than women are. Like, there's a couple times you see the character played by Danny Masterson fucking a skull. It's like it's part of it's something that the main character is imagining happen. It's not actually happening within the reality of the movie, but you do see a couple instances of Danny Masterson fucking a skull, and he's like completely naked. You see everything except for the penis, and so like he's just fully nude. And then there's a scene where John Krasinski's character is in the shower jacking off, and again you don't see penis, and it's all shot from the waist up, but he's still naked and jacking off. So this is a good movie if you want to see men naked. You know, like Dude Where's My Car is a good stoner comedy for people who like to see hot women half naked, and if you want to see hot men half naked, you know, and saying Danny Masterson is hot is going to be controversial because I know that he's been arrested for and charged with like sexual assault, but he's still hot. Like I'm still allowed to say he's hot, right? Like I don't know. I don't support what he's done. Is it alleged or has he actually been charged? I haven't looked into it. I think he actually was charged, so I don't think I have to say allegedly. But you know, I don't support what he's done. He's good looking. Like I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, this movie is surprisingly feminist, I would say, and at no point does the main character use her body to try to get money, because that's something, maybe I'm a sexist for thinking this, but the whole movie, she's like trying to get money because she owes people money, primarily her drug dealer, and she also has to pay the electricity bill, and she has to buy more weed so she can make more weed cupcakes to replace the ones she ate because those were her roommates, and like she just needs a bunch of money. And so a movie starring a woman who needs money, my mind immediately went to, oh, she's gonna like offer to show her boobs to someone for $100 or something like that, you know, or like like when her dealer, she's like I don't have enough money, and I immediately expected him to be like, all right, then, you know, have sex with me or something like that. But they never did that. They never touched that. They never went there, you know? And I think that that's a good thing. Not that sex work is a bad thing. It's not. But the idea that in order to get money, if you are a hot chick, you immediately you just have to use your body and use sexual favors to get said money. That is where my mind went. And so again, maybe I'm a bad person for that, but I am glad that the movie did not take it that route. It did not go that way. So yeah, God, I felt like I had a lot to say about this movie. There's a lot of good looking people in this movie. Anna Faris is real good looking. John Cho, I think that's his name, John Cho. He was from Harold and Kumar. I don't remember if he was Harold or Kumar. I'm assuming he was Harold, because Kumar sounds like it's not the kind of name that he would have. I'm trying to not sound racist here, but Kumar sounds more like a South Asian name than it does an East Asian name. So, and John Cho, if that is his name, is East Asian. So I'm assuming he was Harold, not Carol. Harold, but I have no idea, because again, I am not a Harold and Kumar guy, unfortunately. From the bits of it I've seen, it seems funny, but I just never got around to watching it. Like I said, I'm not a movie person. There's a lot of movies in the world I have not seen. What else did I like about this movie? Didn't like the ending. I'm a fan of happy endings, and like when it comes, especially to comedy movies, I really like the whole movie. She just gets herself into more and more trouble. Then it's like, oh, okay, she's gonna end up getting arrested for sure. But you're like, that can't be how this ends, right? Because it's a comedy. It's a stoner comedy. So she's gonna find some kind of funny way to get out of all the trouble that she's gotten herself into. Like some crazy thing's gonna happen and it's gonna fix everything. But that is not, in fact, what happens. She just keeps getting herself into more and more trouble until eventually she does get arrested and she does get sentenced. And at the end of the movie, we see her picking up trash on the side of the road as part of her community service because she got arrested for her deeds. And it's like, it's not an unhappy ending. Like, she still seems like she's in good spirits about it. Like, she's not super crushed, but it's like I wanted a happier ending. And it does bother me that weed is illegal, and it does bother me that, you know, seeing her get so paranoid about being around the police because she was really stoned, and so she was really paranoid. There's a scene where there's a police officer, and she's like, she won't even look him in the eye because she's so paranoid. And it pisses me off because it reminds me that weed is illegal, and like, I might be a recovering weed addict, and I know weed caused me to have psychosis, and I should be against weed, but I'm not. Like, I will defend weed until my dying day because it is better than alcohol, and if alcohol is legal, then god damn it, weed should be legal. And I know a lot of people who smoke weed who are perfectly fine, normal, well-adjusted, intelligent people, and it's just the way society sees us. I'm saying us as like people who smoke weed. I don't smoke weed anymore, but like that's how people saw me. The way Jane's character is depicted in this movie is the way people see stoners and the way people probably saw me, and it's just so unflattering. Like, she was just so stupid and dopey, and just, it was frustrating to watch because somebody would ask her a question and it would take her like 10 freaking minutes to finally answer, and it's like, oh my god, just like, it's so frustrating. It's like, is that really how people saw me? Is that what people thought of me? And you have to remember, Jane's character is not just stoned. She's like super mega stoned. Like, she had a lot of weed cupcakes. Like, she is so stoned. So if you watch this movie and you've never met a stoner before, and you have no idea anything about weed, and you don't know what it does to people, and you watch what happens to Jane and you're like, oh, is that what stoners are like? No. No, that is what a person is like when they are way, way, way too stoned, okay? And like, there are some people who aren't stoners who don't smoke weed very often, and when they do get that high, and they do act like that, like really just slow and stupid and just frustratingly slow, and you're just like, but like, that's not what stoners are like, because stoners are people who smoke weed regularly, so they're accustomed to it. They're able to function while being stoned. They don't act like that. And so again, if you watch this movie and think that's what all stoners are like, it is not. She is way, 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 way too stoned in this movie. She is not a regular amount of stoned, okay? Anyways, so I feel like I was saying something and then I tangented. What was I saying? I was talking about there's a lot of attractive people in this movie. Like I said, John Cho, if that is his name. I'm so bad with names. I think that's his name. John Krasinski, I think that's his name. John Krasinski? Sounds right to me. I think he's the guy from The Office. I've never seen The Office. I know a lot of people are probably mad at me right now. I'm sorry. I've seen the memes. I've seen clips of it, but I've never seen The Office. And, this is gonna get me into a lot of trouble. It doesn't seem that funny, if I'm being honest, from what I've seen. I'm sorry, don't kill me. I don't think The Office is my type of humor. I don't know. Maybe I haven't given it a fair chance. Maybe I should try to watch it, but I don't know, whatever. John Krasinski, he's surprisingly attractive in this movie. Like, he's supposed to be a nerd, and like I'm really into nerds. I have a thing for nerds, but when you see nerds in movies, like oftentimes they are kind of incels. They're like really mad that the hot girls don't want to have sex with them, and so they're usually quite sexist. And so I was really pleasantly surprised with John Krasinski's character. Like, as soon as they introduced him, like, he's this nerd who has a real big crush on the main character, and I just immediately was like, oh no, he's gonna try to do something inappropriate with her, or he's going to make sexist comments, or he's gonna be like, I don't know, mad that she doesn't want to have sex with him, or like, he's just gonna be a real douchebag, isn't he? And he wasn't. He was actually probably my favorite character in the movie. He was just really nice. Just a really nice guy, and I really liked him. Like, where can I find a guy like that in real life? Because, you know, he was he was great. Perfect gentleman. Yeah, so anything else I want to say about this movie? There were so many famous people in this movie that I recognized. Like, every other scene, I was like, oh, I know that person. Like, Danny Trejo, I really only know him from, I think he was in Breaking Bad. He was in Breaking Bad, right? I know who Danny Trejo is, but I don't really like know. I know he like has a taco business now or something. I don't know, but like I recognized him and I was like, I know that guy. And then there was the guy who played, I think, Harold from Harold and Kumar. I was like, oh, I know that guy. And there was the girl who Lynch something, I think her name is something Lynch. She played Sue Sylvester in Glee. I didn't even really watch Glee, but that character was so iconic you couldn't escape it. And so whatever her name is, oh, she was so popular at a certain, like when Glee came out, there was a certain amount of time where she was just so popular, especially with the lesbians. I knew like every lesbian worshipped this woman. What is her name? Oh my God, that's going to bother me. But like, she's in this movie. There's this guy who I recognize from the movie Hostel, whose name I absolutely don't know. God, just like, again, Danny Masterson, he's the guy who was in That 70s Show. He played Hyde, I think his character's name was. The drug dealer, he was from some show I didn't watch, Gossip Girl or something, or The Hills, maybe. But like, I recognized him. He was also in Jennifer's Body. I'm pretty sure he was the bad guy in Jennifer's Body. He's also good looking. Lots of good looking people in this movie, and his character was really great. Like at one point, one of my favorite exchanges, he's like, "If you don't give me the money, then I'm gonna send my boys over here, and they're gonna, you know, do something or whatever." And she's like, "Are they gonna kill me?" He's like, "Jesus Christ, I sell pot." Like, no, they're not gonna fucking kill you. She's like, oh, they're just gonna break my legs? He's like, fuck no. They're just gonna, like, I don't know, steal your furniture or something. And so, like, yeah, that was funny. Yeah, God, there was a lot of people in this movie who I recognized, and anyways, it was, you know, it was a good time. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed it. It was very stressful. Oh, this movie was just so stressful to watch. There were just so many times when I just wanted to smack some sense into that freaking main character. And I know it's wrong. Violence against women and assaulting people is wrong, and I wouldn't actually smack her. But have you ever seen a character so dumb you just wanted to freaking smack them? You know what I mean? Like I try not to be a violent person, but the urge was there, you know? Like, she was just so dumb, and I know her character actually wasn't that dumb. She was just really, 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 really stoned, but God, she was so dumb, and I just, that was a stressful, frustrating movie, but it was enjoyable, and I do understand why so many people like it. It's good, and like I said, it's pretty feminist. I mean, I'm not really the most reliable source on what is and isn't feminist, but I thought it was relatively non-sexist, at least, you know? Again, you never see the main character or any women naked, but you do see some naked men. I mean, again, she is naked in one scene, but she's still completely covered. You just see her shoulders and some of her legs, but like she's implied to be naked, but you don't see like cleavage or anything, like not a hint of breast, not a breast to be seen. And she's wearing like very baggy androgynous clothes the entire movie. Like she's not dolled up to look all like pretty and you know, appeal to the male gaze or whatever. And so that's pretty rare in a movie starring a female to see the main character not dressed up to be super appealing to the male gaze. And so like, yeah, I do think it was fairly feminist. Again, it was a good movie and I could see why so many people recommended it to me. And overall, I recommend it. It gets the Sylvester stamp of approval. If I think of anything else I want to say about this movie, or if I have any corrections to make, I will put it in the comments. I will pin a comment down below. So please, just as a general rule of thumb, when you watch my videos, always make sure to just check the comments to see if I've left any comments down there, just correcting anything or whatever, because I always do. I always have something to say after I post a video where I'm like, this kind of came out wrong, or, you know, there's something I need to correct, there's something that I said, you know, whatever. Just check the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.